Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll pick up where we left off last time, so let's get into it. Alhamdulillah, salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Imam al-Sunusi says, فهذه ستة صفات الأولى نفسية وهي الوجود والخمسة بعدها سلبية. So these are 6 attributes. The first of them is nafsiyya, self-signifying, which is the attribute of existence. And the 5 after that are salbiyya, are negative. يعني أن الصفة الأولى هي الوجود وهي صفة نفسية بمعنى أن الوجود هو عين الذات والنفس الذات كما تقدم وذات الشيء حقيقته. Meaning the first attribute the first attribute is wujud, existence, and it's a self-signifying attribute in the meaning that wujud, existence, is the essence of the being and the same thing as the being, as was mentioned previously. The essence of a thing is its reality, meaning wujud, existence, is the very same thing as the existent being. وجود is موجود وحاصله أن الوجود يرجع معناه إلى الذات الموجودة. هذا مذهب الشيخ الأشعري خلافا للإمام الرازي ويمكن الجمع بين القولين بأن يحمل مذهب الشيخ الأشعري على ما في الخارج لأنه لا معنى للوجود في الخارج والعيان إلا الذات الموجودة، وما قاله الرازي يحمل على ما في الذهن دون ما في الخارج لأن العقل يتصور الوجود ولا يتعقل من يتصف به فيتفق القولان والله تعالى أعلم. And the gist is that existence, the meaning of existence goes back to the existent being, and that is the position of Imam al-Ash'ari as opposed to the position of Imam al-Razi. And it's possible to reconcile these two positions they have by saying that, well, what Imam Ash'ari is saying, that accords with extramental reality, that has to do with actual existence, because in reality there can't be existence without the existent. Right? There can't be wujud without the mawjud, because there's no meaning to that, saying that it's possible for existence to be there without an existent thing to ascribe it with, right? And what Imam Razi said, that can be understood conceptually. Like conceptually, one can think of in the mind existence as a concept without it being ascribed to anyone, and that's how you can reconcile these two opinions basically. وأما الصفات الخمسة, it's meant to be خمسة, التي بعد الوجود فهي صفات سلبية أي كل واحدة سلبت أمرا لا يليق به جل وعز. فالقدم نفي العدم السابق, not نفسي, the scene is not meant to be there. والبقاء نفي العدم اللاحق والمخالفة نفي المماثلة في الذات والصفات والأفعال. والقيام بالنفس نفي الاحتياج إلى الذات والفاعل. والوحدانية سلب الشريك له تعالى متصلا كان أو منفصلا وبالله تعالى التوفيق. As for the 5 attributes mentioned after existence, those are negative attributes, negating attributes, meaning every one of them negates a matter that does not befit Allah. So pre-eternality negates non-existence, that will follow that negates non-existence prior to existence. Everlastingness negates non-existence that follows existence. Resembling dissimilarity to creation negates resembling creation in being, attributes, and actions. Self-subsistence negates being in requiring a being, a essence to subsist within, and a doer. And oneness negates a likeness for Allah, likeness for Allah, or it negates a partner for Allah, be that partner attached or separate. So Allah is not compounded, so he doesn't it's not made up of multiple beings, nor is there a separate partner for Allah, so something that exists alongside him, separate from him. Neither of the two. Both are negated by the attribute of wahdaniyah, oneness. Imam as-Sunusi follows up. He says, ثم يجب له تعالى سبع صفات تسمى صفات المعاني. And then there are 7 other attributes which are necessary for him, and they're called qualitative attributes. اعلم أن كل صفة موجودة في نفسها قائمة بذاته تعالى فإنها تسمى صفة معنى. And know that every actually existent attribute subsisting within his being, within his essence, that is going to be called a qualitative attribute. So these attributes are actually existent, unlike the attribute of qidam, for example, where it's just the opposite being negated through the attribute. But this is an actual existent attribute, the ones we're going to discuss now. So وهي القدرة والإرادة المتعلقتان بجميع الممكنات. And they are qudra and irada, power and will, both of which are linked to all possible matters. يعني أن القدرة القديمة هي صفة موجودة قديمة بقدم الذات قائمة بذاته تعالى يتيسر بها إيجاد الممكن وإعدامه على وفق الإرادة. Meaning pre-eternal power, which is it's an attribute that is existent, that is pre-eternal due to the pre-eternality of Allah's being, and it subsists with Allah's being, and through it bringing a possible thing into existence or taking it out of existence is facilitated in accordance with the divine will. والإرادة القديمة هي صفة موجودة قديمة بقدم الذات قائمة بذاته تعالى يتيسر بها تخصيص الممكن ببعض ما يجوز عليه من الطول والقصر والبياض والسواد وغير ذلك من الجائزات. And divine will is an attribute that is existent, that is pre-eternal due to the pre-eternality of Allah's essence, and it subsists within Allah's essence, and through it is facilitated the specifying of a possible matter with other possible things, such as length, shortness, whiteness, blackness, etc. So a person can be a person's existence, which is possible. Allah can create humans, but he doesn't have to, of course. So his existence can be specified with, okay, he will be tall, he'll be smart, he'll like that. That's what's meant with specifying. وتتعلق القدرة والإرادة بكل ممكن أي بكل جائز ولا يعقل تعلقهما بغيره لأن القدرة من صفاتها الإيجاد والإعدام ذلك لا يمكن إلا في الجائزات وكذلك الإرادة من صفاتها تخصيص الممكن بالزمان والمكان والجهة وغير ذلك مما يجوز على الممكن وذلك التخصيص لا يمكن في غير الجائز فوجب تعلقهما بكل جائز دون غيره وبالله تعالى التوفيق. And qudra and irada, power and divine power and will, they link with every possible matter, and it cannot be fathomed that they are linked with other than possible things, because from the characteristics of divine power is that it brings things into existence and takes things out of existence, and that can only be the case with possible things. So when the question is asked, for example, can God create a rock so heavy that he can't lift it himself? Well, this is an impossibility, and Allah's power does not link with impossible matters, because what would follow from that is that God would become incapacitated. Or another example would be, can God create another God? Well, the existence of another God besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rationally impossible, As we know, one of the necessary attributes of God is that he is one. So again, that is not possible. So divine will does not link to impossibilities. That is that. So divine will and power are only linked to possible matters. And likewise is divine will, from its characteristics, is that it specifies possibilities with possible matters with time, space, and directions, and other possible matters. And that specification is not possible in other than possible matters. So it's necessary that both of them link to possible matters only. I've repeated the word possible so many times in the last 2-3 minutes. Anyway, والعلم المتعلق بجميع الواجبات والجائزات والمستحيلات. And divine knowledge, which is linked with all necessary, possible, and impossible matters. يعني أن علمه تعالى هو صفة موجودة قديمة قائمة بذاته تعالى ينكشف به الشيء أي يتضح به كل معلوم من كل واجب وجائز ومستحيل ولا يعزب عن علمه مثقال ذرة ويعلم ما كان وما يكون وما لا يكون. Sorry, I think I skipped out on a bit. فهو تعالى يعلم جميع أقسام الحكم العقلي بعلم قديم لا يعزب عن علمه مثقال ذرة ويعلم ما كان وما يكون وما لا يكون أن لو كان كيف يكون ولا يخفى عليه معلوم. قال الله تعالى ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد. أي قرب علم لا قرب مسافة. والوريد قيل هو عرق في داخل العنق وقيل عرق بمؤخر الرأس وقيل عرق متعلق بالقلب فإذا انقطع مات صاحبه من حينه. ففي الآية ردع للخلق لأنهم إذا كانوا يعلمون أن الله تعالى يعلم ما تتحدث به أنفسهم فأحرى ما يصدر منهم من القول والفعل فيجب على العاقل أن يراقب مولاه ويؤثره على هواه ودنياه لأنه بمرء منه ومسمع. وليس العلم من صفات المؤثرة بل هو صفة كشف ولهذا وجب تعلقه بكل واجب وجائز ومستحيل. Okay, so meaning that divine knowledge is an existent attribute which is pre-eternal, which subsists with Allah's essence, and through it a matter becomes uncovered or disclosed. Meaning every knowable that is from the possible from the necessary, possible, and impossible things becomes clear, becomes uncovered, becomes disclosed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all the rational categories with pre-eternal knowledge, and not even the weight of an atom escapes him. He knows what was, what is, and what will not be, and had it been, how it would have been. No knowable stays hidden from him. Allah says in the Quran, surely we have created mankind and we know what his self whispers to him, or what his soul whispers to him, and we are closer to him than hablil warid, generally translated as jugular vein. أي قرب علم لا قرب مسافة. So this is maf'ul mutlaq for the aqrab, meaning a closeness of knowledge, not a closeness of physical distance. And it says that warid, the word, it's like a vein at the start of the neck. And it's also said that it's a vein at the back of the head, and it's also said that it's a vein that connects with the heart, and if it were to be cut, then the person would die straight away. And in this verse there's a repelling for the creation, because when they know very well that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what their inner thoughts are, right, then he will definitely know what stems from them in terms of statements and actions. Okay, so it's necessary for the rational person that he fears his Lord, and that he prefers him and likes him over his desires and his and the world, because he is in front because he is in front of Allah, basically, meaning Allah has full knowledge of him, and knowledge is not from the affecting attributes, so it's not an attribute that has an effect. Okay, it's rather it's a disclosing attribute, an uncovering attribute, and that is why it's necessary that it's linked with every necessary, possible and impossible thing, because everything is disclosed to Allah. Then Imam Sunusi says, Al-Hayatu wa hiya la tata'allaqu bi shay'in. And divine life, it's not linked to anything. So unlike the previous attributes that we have mentioned, they were linked to something constantly, but divine life is not. يعني أن الحياة لا تطلب أمرا زائدا على القيام بمحلها، بل هي شرط جميع الصفات بخلاف سائر صفات المعاني، فإنها تطلب ما تتعلق به، فالقدرة تطلب أمرا زائدا على الذات وهو تعلقه بالممكنات، كما في غيرها من سائر صفات المعاني، إلا الحياة فإنها صفة موجودة قديمة باقية قائمة بالذات وبالله تعالى التوفيق. Meaning, divine life does not seek a matter besides subsisting by itself. Okay, subsisting within its place. So rather, this attribute is actually like a condition for all the other attributes, because if there's no divine life, there can be no knowledge, there can be no power, etc. Right? Something that is not alive cannot have power or knowledge if it's dead, as opposed to all other attributes, because all other attributes actually seek out something else, to connect with something, to link with something. So for example, power seeks out something besides the essence, and that is its connection with all possible things. And the same goes for all other sifat, except for divine life, because it's a attribute, existent attribute that's pre-eternal, that is lasting, and that subsists with Allah's essence. And that is it for today. Next time we'll inshallah talk about divine hearing and sight, as well as Allah, as well as divine speech, inshallah azza wa jal. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.